By pressing play, you've entered a dimension where there are no apologies given for the ridiculous and random thoughts expressed here by these two brothers and their guests. With that being said, enjoy your experience. Hey everybody.
Yo.
Yeah, we here. Officially. Numero uno. The very first, baby. You know what that means. You here? You know what you about to get into. Or what we about to get into, right?
What we about to get into.
You know what we about to get into. The first official episode of Yo Where Da Captions at? And guess who I am? Yours truly, Kels for show, a.k.a. K to the E-L, S to the E-Y. You may never know. And also with me always is my bro host, my one and only, my Ace Boone Coon.
The Winston of the house party. Better yet known as the one-eyed bandit, Roscoe.
And also, as always, we got here behind the scenes, handling all the tech work, the boy Daniel, our man in the chair.
How you guys doing?
Alrighty. And with that being said, I got to introduce our special guest, like the specialist guest. She's my Jess, my favorite panda. Some might know her as Rice Cakes. L says. That's going to be my favorite, The Carter. That's going to be Leslie.
What up, what up?
Hey, girl. How you doing today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Maybe not so much, I lost a phone. I had to pay a phone bill today before I got to Vegas. It would have been a little more, story-based, more cliche if I lost the phone out there. But if I lose it here, I can't lose it out there. So we in it to win it, baby. Ross, how about you? How your Monday been so far, man?
I'm actually going to say it's not been that bad. I mean, I'm be honest, fell back down into the Disney Channel trap, so watched all of season 2 and started season 3 of Bunk on Netflix.
Word.
Bunk's the spinoff from the good old late early 2000 show, Disney Channel shows, Jessie.
And who did Jessie star, Leslie?
Oh, God, I don't know her by name. I
Debbie
know,
Ryan.
that is such a Disney fail right there.
No, it's cool. You don't know her name, but Ross.
Debbie Ryan.
Also the star of Insatiable on Netflix. If you haven't checked out that hot mess as a show, you should definitely give it a watch. It's really not that good, but it's entertaining ass mess. Just like if you put the Frosty the Snowman hat on a piece of shit and watch it dance around and do a twirl. Like, god damn, that motherfucker move. But now my house dirty.
It's dirty though. I still gotta do season 2.
You still ain't watched season 2 of Insatiable?
I sure have it. I know.
But guess what you been watching? Doctor Who.
Hey, they've been telling me the 11th Doctor was great, and I'm not gonna lie, Matt Smith is one beautiful white man.
Hey, sometimes they are beautiful, man. This is how it is. Word. Okay, since it's the first episode, we're going to be working out some of the kinks. Every step forward is a step up. So that's the only steps we're trying to make. 1-2 step, that's the Sierra in me. You already know what it is. And so we're going to start off with our first segment, What's Poppin'? And this is the part of the show when we just go around talking about different things in the pop culture landscape and in the world of geekdom, and sometimes wrestling, sports, politics, depending on where we go. And we might not talk about anything. We might just decide to be like, hey, that Popeye's chicken sandwich though, if you're gonna get it spicy.
Be warned, you will hear a lot of bullshit. Roscoe, why are you on YouTube? Yes, Roscoe watches YouTube drama. Don't ask me why. You getting what's popping in it from it.
And exactly, I ain't even want to talk about that, but hey, there it is. So the first thing I want to talk about real quick is my Dallas Cowboys.
What about them boys?
We finally got rid of Garrett after all these years of having all this talent, getting so not even close. Because why? Garrett is trash.
But I must say though, as much as everybody wanted to see Garrett go, once they let go of Garrett, everybody was feeling sad for Garrett all around the sports joints. Like, y'all did have to have him on hold for like these extra 5 days. I see y'all were trying to put him in the office. He could have just tried to go elsewhere instead of doing all of this. But, I mean, now we just got to see what your Cowboys going to do now with the new head coach.
You know what we're going to do with the new head coach, baby?
8-8.
No, we don't win that Super Bowl next year.
8-8.
Baby, I can't wait to get my next Dallas Cowboy tattoo, which will be my first, because I've been waiting to get one.
When y'all win that
When we win that Super Bowl. So it's a good chance my black ass going to die without that tattoo.
You know what's going to be... What's more funny is My Broncos might got a better chance of winning the bowl again than your Cowboys do.
Well, it's only like 32 teams in the league. You know, on roll a dice, somebody's gonna land on a number. But you know, that's all I got to say about that shit. And also, what debuted this morning too was the second trailer to the New Mutants movie.
It was the second. I thought that was the third.
Well, there was the first teaser, but then it had the official one.
Oh, yeah, that teaser was a long-ass teaser.
And Leslie, are you familiar with that new Mutants movie?
No.
Did you see? A lot. That's the problem. A lot of people don't even realize it was happening. We got a trailer in theaters years back, but then there was a lot of shaking and going around behind the scenes. They had to re-edit. And then, like, the move with Fox, the merger of Disney buying them, it kind of put it on the back burner. So people didn't even know if it was still going to be released. For, like, a long time, I was saying, like, fuck it, just put it on Hulu. You own Hulu. You might not want to put it on the Disney Plus app. Put that son bitch on Hulu and let the people watch it. That way you might not lose the money because you didn't spend the money in the first place.
But I will say, though, I'm glad that they did not shelf it and they actually was like, you know what, let's go shoot some more edits. Let's edit it better and try to make it more horror because I felt it was going to be hella PG-13.
Yes, I do remember this preview because I remember waiting impatiently for it, and then it just never came.
Exactly.
I just thought maybe I missed it.
No, girl, you didn't miss it, but it's coming now though. I think it's coming. Yeah, April 3rd.
Oh, word.
April 3rd, day after the homie's birthday. But yeah, so if you didn't know about the New Mutants was like the new young recruit of the X-Men's back in the day. I think Chris Claremont. No, or was it Jack Kirby and Stan Lee Daniels?
No. That New Mutants came around the Claremont era. It was after a few things that happened with the X-Men, and suddenly Magneto was leading them.
Exactly.
Emma Frost and Banshee had their own team going as well.
They did? I thought the Generation X came later than New Mutants. That was happening at the same time?
It was happening around the same time, yeah.
Okay, because I think that was the time Charles was in space dealing with Leandra and all that.
That's absolutely
You know what's crazy? I've never read the New Mutants back then, but I did have a grip of Gen X.
Word, that makes sense because the New Mutants came out when we weren't even born. And I have issues. I have like 2 issues of New Mutants #1 because it's like, oh, it's #1, I got it. But then you find out, nah, motherfucker, that's because they flooded the market with all those motherfucking comic books so they don't worth shit. That's why you got that bitch for $1. And just for a quick rundown, the New Mutants, the most famous one will be Cannonball, Sunspot, Mirage, and Magic, of course. Then you also have Wolfsbane, Warlock, Douglock, Cypher, my fault. But yeah, it focuses on like the core group of them, and they also give us Arya Stark in it as Wolfsbane, which potentially could have gave us 2 Sansa sisters in one movie if the Fox franchise would have continued. Yep.
Oh, that would have been. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I know you didn't. That's what I'm here for. Boy, what you don't catch, I pick up, baby.
Thank you,
got your back.
Thank you.
And that's the thing too. What I think is the different way they're going. That Disney got a hand of it is going more YA, more adventurous, more Maze Runner with it because it seems like this trailer focused more on being superheroic versus
and they're trying to escape out of a place instead.
More almost like Breakfast Club instead of them being like, oh, we're stuck, it's spooky, kind of like they tried to do with Fan Forced It. But now it's like, nah, let's try to edit it so we can make it funner, so we can kind of get our money for this shit.
Yeah.
Word. And another thing, too, speaking of things that have been long in production or thought of being in production, with Avatar The Last Airbender, the live action adaptation on Netflix is finally going to production this year.
And they're going to be dropping a teaser soon, too, which is still kind of weird.
Spooky, too, because they just announced that it's actually coming. So it might be just a lot of visual effects type thing.
It might be one of those site trailers.
Or like, reference footage, maybe some stunt actors firebending, earthbending, doing that thing. Maybe some scenes they shot, or even just concept art. So that's going to be interesting to see, because if you don't know me, Avatar is one of my favorite series of all time. Are you familiar with that franchise, Leslie?
I am. I actually remember you telling me to watch that movie.
The movie or the cartoon? If I said the movie, I'm sorry that I made you sit through that shit, because that does no respect to the source material.
It's cool. I didn't actually watch it.
All right, cool, because I have the full season on DVD. I can let you borrow that, and once you're done with that, and once Daniel's born with Korra, I can give you.
Oh, Daniel's still borrowing Korra?
Yeah, because he ain't got to that yet, though. Him and Chrissy are still working on it, but it's okay. That's the power of DVDs. They don't go anywhere unless you lose them or some shit. But and another thing coming this year that just got announced was The Mandalorian Season 2. We'll begin that in the fall. And if you follow Escape Podcast and the best podcast in Colorado Springs when it comes to all things geek, nerdy, and everything in between, you know we have our own series talking about that, the Ballad of Verdito, everything about Verdito. Verdito the big, Verdito the small, the Verdito that can't stop, won't stop, force wall it all.
Oh, you didn't have that one in the cage?
I didn't have Verdito the green because Verdito literally means the little green one.
Oh, it's too late.
For your gringos out there.
Oh, it's too late.
Jeez Louise. But no, have you had a chance to watch The Mandalorian on the Disney Plus app yet?
I have not yet. You were supposed to share a login with me, sir.
Hey, girl, I've been working on that shit. When you be losing phones,
once you get that shared, I'll start watching those
when you
episodes.
be losing phones and losing hoes, money just goes out the window. So I'm trying to work on that, girl. But you already know I got you.
All right, for sure.
That way it's better for you too, because you get to binge it all. If I come back from Vegas big, it's gonna be big things popping, little things stopping. Except for this little ass motherfucker on these streets, because I gotta be out there. And just like Cyclops' vision can be described as Scarlet, we're getting WandaVision earlier this year, because we were supposed to get it earlier in 2021, but now we're gonna get it in the fall around the same time, maybe as The Mandalorian. So we might be getting a double whammy.
We might get WandaVision before Loki?
No, we are getting WandaVision before Loki.
But I thought Loki was supposed to be the debut for all the...
No, Winter Soldier and the Falcon is the debut this year.
And then it's supposed to be Loki.
Yeah, but now...
It's going to be
WandaVision.
Captain America and what you call it, then WandaVision.
Yes, because WandaVision actually started shooting first before everything.
Oh, fuck yes. I'm sorry. I'm a Scarlet Witch fan. And I'm a Vision fan.
You like unstable hoes.
Hey.
So these characters are getting their own shows, basically.
Oh, you don't... Hold on. You don't know?
No, baby.
Remember that time you were supposed to share that login with me? I don't know nothing about that Disney Plus.
And let us...
Hit it. I thought we told her this after the Endgame.
I thought I did, too.
I thought we
now we get to tell you and all the audience members that aren't privy to all this geek info. So... with the MCU being what it is, and Disney has its own streaming service, now multiple characters that have been in the movies are going to get their own solo series that will also tie into the movies, and they also will be portrayed by the same actors. So we're getting WandaVision starring, of course, Scarlet Witch, aka Elizabeth Olsen, and we also get Paul Bettany as the Vision back in it, and we also gonna get, if you watch Captain Marvel, you know how Monica Rambeau was the little girl in the movie. She's been cast as her older version in WandaVision, so that's gonna set her up in that show, so she could be the superhero Photon in the movies. And also WandaVision. No bullshit. Bro, I already told you this. That's what happened when the blunts hit too hard. You forget all the good shit.
I be forgetting. Sometimes life need captions.
Oh, you nigga, how many times? Bro, people be talking to me like, I don't know what you said, but like, you felt it though. Captions
if you would have had them captions there, I would have remembered this.
No, you wouldn't. You still would have forgot, but that's neither here nor there.
True.
But WandaVision is going to tie directly into the Doctor Strange movie and the madness into the multiverse. But we also get, like I mentioned before,
sorry, nope. That's
all right.
Gonna be standalone topic.
All right, cool. So we get the Falcon and Winter Soldier movie, which shows Sam Wilson picking up Captain's mantle and dealing with all that shit. Next year we get the Loki series, when we take the Loki from Endgame that took the Tesseract. We don't see what he's been doing, bouncing around time
since he left with the Tesseract.
Yes, and speculations are one of the versions might be a female Loki, because female Loki could get the pokey. That's all I gotta say about that shit.
Kelsey had to read female Loki, and she's one of the best.
You know, I got things from the baddies.
That was one of my favorite arcs, was a female Loki.
You didn't even read that art. You skimmed that shit.
I did skim it though. I ain't gonna lie.
Seeing the line.
No, I did read it. I skimmed through the last. I think I skimmed through half of the last page.
Hey, you know your life and you know your lies. That's all I'm trying to say. Then we also going to get a What If animated TV series, and it's basically going to take each movie from the MCU and do a What If spin on it. So basically I don't know if it's Guardian of the Galaxy or Black Panther, but it's basically what if Yondu picked up T'Challa instead of Star-Lord, so now you have T'Challa in space being basically Lando Calrissian up in the MCU. So we get that version, and we get what if Peggy Carter became Captain America. Then we see a skinny Steve Rogers in an Iron Man suit.
Well, and what I think you guys may know about it, may not know about it, is this is going to be an animated series voiced by the original actors, giving them a chance to do those big scenes without and necessarily having the budget.
Exactly, and also we're going to get a Hawkeye TV series, we got a Miss Marvel series coming, She-Hulk is coming, Moon Knight is coming, and I feel like
and they just reported that they're working on trying to do they already are working on the Defenders and everything, just waiting for that contract deal to go over so they could
and that's been one of the things that's always been speculated, if the actors are going to come back or if they're just going to recast them. But then also that doesn't include the Hulu side of it, because we still have the Howard the Duck animated series being written by Kevin Smith, which is coming too. And then it was like Hellcat and Tigra, and then it was Hit Monkey. Yeah, Hit Monkey was supposed to get the animated
Howard
series.
The Duck, Hellgirl and Tigra, and who's the last one?
I think it might just been those three, and they was going to all come together Defender style, but it was going to be called The Offenders instead. But Kevin Smith still says they're working on that, but I'm not 100% sure if that's still going to be released. But hey, only vision I have is for the future, baby.
And if they release it just like they did Runaways and Cloak and Dagger, I'm hoping for goodness.
Yes, baby. But speaking of Disney Channel,
so Leslie, I know we used to always talk about our Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Descendants 3 yet?
The what?
Descendants 3. You know they dropped the third one.
Was that the one in the ocean, or is that one number 2?
No,
that one's number 2 with China White that you're thinking about.
Which one was number 3?
Number 3
is the third one.
When
smart ass.
No, I'm saying
with Hades.
Okay, so no, I have not seen that one yet.
But you saw the second one.
I have seen the second one.
So me and Kelsey, because me ended up being bored and couldn't go to sleep, I was like, man, I switched from Teen Nick to Disney Channel, which is the reason why I got back in the bunk, because I found out they had a third season. But found out they had a marathon music weekend on New Year's Day. Go record sing-along versions. So you know how I feel about the sing-along movie versions.
Girl.
I'd be singing along without the captions.
So so Descendants 3 was one of them. Rena recorded it because I knew I had recorded, but I deleted the record beforehand. Kelsey comes through, we watch it. First thing me and Kelsey's like, why did we record this sing-along version? Next thing we know,
singing.
Girl,
they got some of the best lyrics. This version got some of the best lyrics.
When the one girl from Charm, the youngest sister from Charm, the youngest one from Charm.
I know who you're talking about.
The Fairy God Princess.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So when she started going to her song,
not the Fairy God Princess. The Cinderella.
Yeah. So when she goes into her song about how she need to become a bad bitch, she get up and start killing that shit. I'm like, yo, fuck them motherfuckers. They didn't care about your life. Destroy everything.
She goes
get
to
Maleficent's wand.
Then she goes to rapping. And when she rapping, she still Magnificent.
She straight Minaj it.
It's
all
so,
Nicki.
It is so great. It's just like, all right.
And then they do a dance battle with these knights. I was like, yo, I swear to God, these knights are the Jabberwockies, because they hitting all those Jabberwocky moves.
Jabberwockies had to choreograph.
Then I googled it. They didn't, but I know influence when I see influence.
They had to choreograph. I'm sorry if they had to be credit for choreographing that movie.
But we just want to share that tidbit real quick. And did you see the first Zombies?
The first Zombies.
On Disney Channel. The Disney Channel movie Zombies. With the family.
With the zombies. That's all you got to say with the zombies.
With the channel Pleasantville that's actually got blew up by a radioactive plant, and they decide, and it happened to only affect half of it.
And now what you're doing right now, hey, all the listeners, what he's doing right now is Ross-splaining. He's obviously over-explaining a simple question. I asked her, did she see the Disney Channel movie with zombies? She looking at me like, what zombies? That lets me know she did not. So we put a pin in that button.
Well, I was just going to say, take me back to when that was. Was that like our days of Disney?
No.
Like maybe
more
4 years ago.
Maybe like 4 years ago.
That's about when I stopped watching the Disney Channel.
That's how I knew you didn't watch it.
That's basically what
Long story short, you need to watch it. It's good. And part 2 coming out. They taking a page out of. Yeah, they on the wolves, girl. There was like a howl and a scratch on the title card.
End of the show, they just like, this little girl's been a half zombie this whole entire time. Zombies ain't that bad. Let's break this great wall of China between humans and zombies.
Wait. There was no great wall of China.
It wasn't a great wall.
It was
just a barrier. It was just a barrier.
It
was just a nice little barrier.
Break the stigma between humans and
zombies. They broke
the
barrier and let everybody live there. Next thing you know, we get werewolves in this third one.
And it took us 2 times watching the trailer to realize these motherfuckers were werewolves.
Kelsey's like, are they wolves? I'm like, I don't think so. Then we go back. Kelsey's like, they got pointy ears and they wearing all fur. They gotta be wolves.
Yes.
Then Kelsey's like, did you hear the howl? It's like, oh shit. Next thing you know, it's like, bro, they got a wolf scratch at the end behind the logo. It's clearly werewolves.
Yeah, so they already gave us humans with zombies. Now they're giving us werewolves. So now, like, third one, they got to team up to fight the vampires.
I was about to say, when are those going to come in?
Third one.
And they are mummy fans, so they could bring a fourth one with mummies.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that shit's about to pop.
Be too much.
They gotta skip past the vampires though, because everyone's doing vampires, right?
No, Disney already know what they're doing. You know why they're gonna do vampires? Cause guess who's gonna get a movie in 3 years? Blade, he back. So vampires gonna be back in this shit popping. They smart. They know what they're doing.
Especially with that Descendants 3 little cameo they did without you even knowing who it was, what cameo it was, but yet you knew it.
Word. So putting a pin on the Disney Channel, we're gonna get into very important topic for all the anime manga fans. Cause guess what got announced this week?
Can you please tell them, because this made my heart.
After I think it's been 12 years, we're gonna get
12-15.
After 12 to 15 years, we're gonna get a new chapter manga of Death Note. It's gonna be 87 pages of a one shot telling us what happened at the end of this legendary manga that birthed so many mangas after that, sunned all these other super hyper thinking anime characters, from your Dr. Stones to your Shikamaru's to your Sasuke's to the Death the Kids. Every time there's an anime character that's sitting there like, the wind blew. So if it's blowing from this direction, we know exactly at this time, at this place, that the earth is at this alignment. So therefore, only thing I need to do is touch you with this amount of force and you will die. All that type of shit was birthed from the battle between Light and L.
Light Yugamagi. It's Light Yugamagi.
You can say Light, that's fine. You don't have to put a last name to it. We know who he is. And that's what we get with that.
I love you, Ryuk. I wish I had a Death Note sometimes, but then I realized if I had one,
I'll be dead.
My name will be Joe.
You don't be stalking?
A lot of people will be dead.
Wait. Joe don't even kill that many people. And by Joe, we mean Joe from You. He's not a killer. He's not like Dexter when he's habitually killing people. But to get to the end of our first segment of What's Poppin', we're going to have a little turnbuckle talk real quick. Because my girl, my fifth favorite diva, my third favorite to look at, number one is going to be Mandy Snacks herself. Then number two is going to be Alexa Bliss. Yeah, third. Yeah, it's gonna be.
I thought she would have been at least number 2.
No, that's why I told you what it was. She's number 3. I don't lie about my words.
Number 2.
I literally said Alexis Bliss.
I thought Alexis was one.
Nah, that's where you're wrong,
Who got
buddy.
one though? I
just want to bring up one aspect that's happened on. Probably not the latest episode of Raw, but on the episode of Raw, it was when my girl Liv Morgan, my third favorite
last week's episode.
My third favorite I won't even call her diva. My third favorite female wrestler. Yes.
In WWE terms, female superstar.
Or if this was TNA, the Knockouts. But so she interrupted Lana and Bobby Lashley's wedding and declared that Lana is the love of her life and is the only reason she alive right now, and she gave her the strength and the power to move
and become the person that she is currently now, which in terms is now giving us our first lesbian storyline in WWE. But mind you, they do have a lesbian, openly gay lesbian in WWE, who's they've been promoting as well as has been promoting the lesbian culture well.
And she subtly has rainbow attire on
all the time. And literally, she's been wanting to have a lesbian storyline, and she's not a part of it.
And as Sonya Deville,
part of Friday Night SmackDown. So currently, SmackDown doesn't have a lesbian storyline, but Raw does.
And her lesbian partner was going to be my favorite female superstar.
Her best friend,
Mandy Snacks, aka Mandy Rose. Yo.
It would have been a cool storyline. But
she smells like honeysuckles and lilac. I know that for a fact.
But I will say though, on a good note, at least WWE is pushing the Mandy Otis storyline, relationship storyline.
Man, I love that storyline.
And I want to give a good thanks to one of the founding leaders for IDJ, Naito. I want to say he's a founding leader, but regardless, Naito, for being the first ever dual New Japan Wrestling heavyweight and intercontinental champion. For most people that don't know, I watch not just only WWE, I watch all the type of big major wrestling industries. And this weekend was Wrestle Kingdom, technically New Japan's WrestleMania, and for the first time ever, it was a 2-night event, as well as their biggest company that they just bought, all-female wrestling company Stardom, they did their first ever female wrestling match at not at the Tokyo Dome, but at Wrestle Kingdom at the Tokyo Dome. It was a great thing. Chris Jericho got to retain and beat I forgot who he fought. The Ace, and the Ace had a loss, so we're not gonna know if get this New Japan AEW partnership out. But also, Moxley has got back his U.S. New Japan Championship from his Texas Death Match, and then defended it the next day against Juice Robinson. So, good weekend of wrestling. Good old 8 hours.
Word. And with that saying, ding, ding, ding. That's going to be the end of the turnbuckle talk for the night. So with that being said, we're going to go to our next segment. I guess you could say the meat of the show. Geeking out. This is the part where we talk to our guests about a show that we all love, that we all like, and we all have no problem just expressing our utmost expressions about said series, book, movie, song, or artist, anime, or comic book. So with that being in, it should be no surprise if I'm the Schmidt.
Oh, I'm the Winston.
And technically, Schmidt is Winston.
True.
And like I said in the opening of the show, Leslie is my Jess. She's our Jess. She is our new girl, but even though she's been an old girl in our lives since high school. So with that being started, yes, new girl. I'm just gonna go into a description of the show. New Girl is basically about Zoe Deschanel. I fell in love with her from Tin Man, my favorite interpretation of the Wizard of Oz franchise. Yes, and also she is the sister to old girl that starred in Bones. Bones is also like one of your favorite shows, Leslie.
That's
correct?
Legit one of my favorite shows, Emily Deschanel.
Thank you, because I did not know her name because I did not watch Bones. So with that being said, yeah, New Girl is basically about a new girl moving into an apartment with three male roommates. One being Schmidt, another being Nick Miller. Nick Miller is played by Jack Johnson. You may know him as the voice of Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. He was also in one of the Jurassic Park movies, and he also was in that piss poor Mummy movie with Tom Cruise.
I'm so glad I fell asleep on that.
Oh, yeah, trust
I
me.
actually liked that one. I won't deny.
Nobody's perfect. I told you that, so I'm not being an asshole. And Schmidt was also played by Max Greenfield, which I didn't realize till I started rewatching Veronica Mars, one of my favorite series of all time. He also on there as a character named Leo,
the greatest sheriff of all time.
Word. And then Coach was played by Damon Wayans Jr., which ironically Coach was only there for one episode.
The first episode, and then disappeared, and then came back season 2, 3?
It was like 2 or 3.
I was going to say, I thought it was more like 3.
Yeah,
he came back.
Exactly.
Yeah, he came back a way minute late.
So Leslie, what about the show makes it one of your favorites?
Well, for starters, I happened to be living with 2 dudes when this show came out, so I identified with Jess on that level.
Word.
Granted, we were missing that third dude of the house, but just all of the antics and the comedy, it's hilarious when you've got the 2 genders living together, but they're not together, right?
Yes.
So you've got these guys learning about all these girly things, and these girls learning about all these guy things, and just the shenanigans that happen. It's just comedy.
The shenanigans.
At its best.
Yes. What about you, Ross? What made you love the show?
Oh, what made me love the show? I can honestly say that just like to piggyback off of Leslie's statement, that as well as the extra part, which is the introduction of Jess's best friend Cece, the female model that lived in town, the top chick, and her group of people and their antics amongst everything, and how awkward Jess can be around everybody, but yet it's not her being awkward, it's just her being herself, and everybody viewing it as awkward, and it slowly becomes like everybody, you come to find out, everybody has an awkwardness, and all their awkwardness blends in together, as well as they're just a bunch of random people that became friends, that became family, that just want to better each other's life.
And I definitely could relate to both of you guys' answers, because all those reasons is also why I love the show. I just like the sense of humor, and being a guy with female friends, a lot of them, I just know certain quirks. And as soon as I started watching, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Leslie. Straight up, to like the random singing that Jess does, the awkwardness, and also being a very beautiful woman. And not and when you are a beautiful woman, and you're a guy that's just their friend, you see how guys talk about them or try to interact, and you just sitting there like, she's a dork, like you like oh my god, how do like you honest bro, she feeds her cat cheeseburgers and things of that nature. But it's just like one of those things, like, yo, it just shows you all these layers and dimensions of friendship. Like, guys and women can be just friends. And the character that I relate to the most would be Schmidt, because I'm kind of neurotic. I have issues and narcissism. It's things of that nature. I like things a particular way.
Yup.
And it's just like, yo, I get everything he's about and everything he's going through. But at the same time, you find Schmidt was a fat kid in college, and he met Nick, and he's like, oh, that's why he's like that. Plus his mommy issues tie into that shit, because he was a mama's boy. But then I'm like, oh, okay, you not only just make these characters awkward and weird and goofy, you also go back and show their backstory and origin to show that they have character development. Like, they started here through a flashback, but now you see them where they're at now in the present. But yet in the present, they are still trying to move on and to be better people.
Which was so great about the last few seasons.
Exactly, like definitely some of the last seasons were a good wrap up. I definitely like how the show ended. It was one of the better finales of a series. Certain series just stop. They don't even try to give you a satisfying,
wrap up.
Exactly, exactly.
But one thing I would like to say is, one good thing is, as much as you may not thought that New Girl was all antics and just random stuff, if you take the time and look at each episode had some type of growth with each character, or one character
some learning lesson.
Yeah, and they grew as people.
Yes, each episode they learned to be better friends and better roommates and better individuals, and even better boyfriends or girlfriends in certain regards. Or you just gotta realize, yo, you might not have anybody in your life, but you have the people you have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it also made me glad that I didn't live with a girl, because some of that shit was just it's just too much. It's too much shit. And one of the other things too I liked about the show was like reoccurring things. For example, was it Real American?
What's
the name of the game?
That's the name of the game.
Or was it True American?
It was either True or Real, but it's still,
because didn't y'all play that one time? Am I correct?
The one where you got to keep off the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, we played that in front of a house in old Colorado City, and that was insane.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that. Dude, I would ask you to tell me about it, but I'm pretty sure you didn't remember from all the alcohol.
There was a little bit of alcohol involved, but that was also the beginning of the evening, so I remembered the majority of it. But it was kind of neat, the setup. The guy who owned the house put like chairs or even 2x4s in areas, and you just had to keep moving, and every now and then you were uncomfortably close with someone you might have just met, and you're like, hey, I'm Taylor's person, how you doing tonight? Like, while you're just sitting there waiting for the next moving step. But it's a hilarious and awesome game. If you've got the patience to get those rules down, I would definitely recommend it.
Yes.
I'd rather play Penny Can.
There's gonna be an episode for Cougar Town.
Oh, I can't.
By all means, we're gonna get one of them.
And
that. Just like other recurring threads in the show, we have returning characters like Schmidt's dad,
Winston's cat shirts.
Oh yes, Winston's cat accession, mind you, especially with Ferguson. We had the whole setup of him getting Ferguson, because I think he got him from Brenda's song.
Yeah, he got him from Brenda's songs.
And then he tried to take him back to her during that blackout.
Oh,
and that's where he ended up keeping him.
He did try to return her.
Yeah, he tried to. Yeah.
Because he was too hurt, because he didn't want it, because it kept reminding him of Brenda's song in a relationship.
Yes, exactly.
Dang, I forgot Winston did go through all that.
And then we had an episode where Jess, you come to find out that Jess was actually seeing Schmidt's dad. It might have been a two-parter.
I won't say it was like more than 2 parts, because I remember her dating him, then them finding out, her going to the winery and finding out how ballin' Smith's dad is.
Exactly. And that's one thing that differentiates from like more classical sitcoms, a la Seinfeld and Friends, where the characters dated one person and they were gone. The people they dated on New Girl kind of stuck around for a couple episodes, like when Jess dated the doctor dude that popped back up later. Then she dated old buddy with the glasses.
When Nick dated Megan Fox, I thought Megan Fox was about to be a stay.
Reagan, yes, that was a nice
character.
turn too. How did you feel about the Reagan?
Oh, when they basically switched out the characters?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was a little taken back, I have to admit. I was like, this isn't my show. That's not me.
Exactly. It is not you.
But it worked still. I mean, after an episode or two, you kind of saw, all right, I can work with this.
Yes, that's one thing too. Like, they brought Megan Fox on, and she's learned from Jennifer Body how to play herself well, and she played herself, but also a vulnerableness where you didn't feel like her being with Nick was so out of the blue. Also, it's not abnormal to see hot ass chicks with doof ass guys, and Nick is a doof.
Technically, a Nick anyway.
Yes,
Just hotter and a little bit more smarter, but
yes,
she was still in that same realm of Nickish.
and that's what I love too about the show. Also, like, these characters have multiple levels. Like, Schmidt could be like a clean freak, a control snob, whatever you want to call it, but at the same time, he's always caring about his friends. He's always there, and all the reasons like he pressures them or goes overboard is because he cares about them so much. Because without friends, especially without Nick, he wouldn't be in the position that he was in.
the mama bird of the house.
Yeah, he literally. I'm pretty sure he literally has said that. Even with Winston, sometimes he wrote off as the goofy one, the absent-minded, the Michelangelo of the group. But his heart is so big. Like, he might not get it, but he's gonna get whatever he needs for you. And he's always about levity and having a good time with the show, and that's what him and Cece had. Was one of my favorite running gags.
Oh, that running
classic
random adventures.
Cece Winston mess arounds.
We got 2 episodes of them doing classic run? 2-3 episodes of them classic running around.
Yes, and Cece was Jess's model friend, and Winston and her would just go around pulling pranks, and they wouldn't even be good pranks. They'd be some of the stupidest shit.
They just went on and did random antics that made you just like, oh, they is cool together.
Exactly. And then you had even with Nick. Nick
had his old silent Asian man.
And Nick, oh my God, yes, like Nick,
like a Mr. Miyagi.
Yes,
is that the Asian man we're referring to?
Yes. Like, Nick ran a bar, but he was also so irresponsible and he was so lazy.
I just realized that how you run a bar, be broke, and yet write a best-selling book.
It's the Miller effect. It's the Miller effect. And then when we go back into his story about his family and all that shit hit, and it also further explains
why him and Winston also got that type of bond, as well as why Nick was always the weird one, and Winston, outside of Smith, were the only 2 people that like, this is why Nick is like this.
Exactly. And then you had the character of Coach, which was first in the first episode, but then they wrote him off. But then he also comes back, and you realize that Coach and all the other guys in the loft were always buddies too before Jess got there. So they even incorporated it, because Damon Wayans Jr. had left because he was supposed to get another TV series and do movies, and that didn't pan out. So they brought him back on the show, and even with that happening, it all works because it came with that moment when Schmidt and Damon Wayans Jr., Coach, were both trying to get at Cece. And if you're a guy, even if you're a girl, it's been in circumstances when you and another friend might have been eyeing the same piece of meat. So he's like, yo, is this piece of meat going to come between our friendship? Or are we going to be like, you know what, you have it. Or we like, may best game win, as we used to say back in the Smart Tech days. And it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, the bonds are only as strong as they allow them to be. And speaking about that type of bonds, Leslie, have you had a type of CC Jess friendship before? Like,
oh God,
feeling
I've had
like
several over the years, I think. Isis. Natalie, Whitney, God, all of my girls.
Because
at one point or another.
Is because that you're always Jess and they're just them? Or was it like the typical, I'm the hot one, everybody look at me, she's so beautiful, and here I am playing with puppies and trying to do crafts for kids?
I think I was the Jess character out of all of us, because I'm not saying, like you said, I'm not bad looking or anything.
Oh,
but
by no means.
All my girls were pretty good looking too. So
true.
Yes.
There's no uggos.
Yeah, I don't think. Of course, in the case of Jess and Cece, Jess is of course drop dead gorgeous. So
yes.
It's just because Cece was an actual paid model.
I'm just saying, like, even Krillin's technically the strongest human on Earth, but then when you got Goku right there, like, you still could get the job done, but it might not be as flashy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
May I ask, favorite episode of New Girl?
Oh, God.
Mine is when they all got high and Winston had to go to
at the last
police
season
barbecue.
At the last season, yeah.
It was either the last season.
Yeah,
oh my
that was
God,
the
yes.
season, yes.
I think I enjoyed that one too, because wasn't he the only one acting a fool?
No, they all were.
Everybody was acting a
They
fool.
all were
Cece, him, Nick.
God, it's been
Coach
a minute.
was there.
Coach was one of that smoked
Yep,
with him.
Coach was
they
in
were
that
all
one.
high trying to, and Winston realized he had to do his police barbecue and all that, and they was too stoned for it. I loved it.
What about you, Leslie? If you can't think of a singular episode, maybe a couple of moments.
I have to say, I probably agree with you with the high at the police barbecue, because that was just one of those so awkward that you cringe just because you're watching it and you're just worried something's gonna happen type of thing. And then the game. That game was a pretty hilarious episode, and I feel like they were up all night long. I don't think they all went to bed until way late.
Did neither.
Exactly. For me, anytime there was a Thanksgiving episode, those are hilarious. One that comes to mind is also when Winston found New Ferguson in the bar because everybody thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
He kept hearing the cat, but then he brings out this little cat out the cushion.
First off, how the cat got in the cushions, still bamboozled.
Exactly.
Claws.
But there was no claw scratches. But also, I must say, another few of my favorite moments, let alone, is Winston pranks, when everybody's like, Winston, we don't want pranks, but Winston's out here trying to prank everybody.
Oh yeah, Winston. That shit was classic. Or the Winston and Coach moment when you found out their tag team name was Coffee. What was it? Coffee Brown.
I think it was Coffee.
Or it was Hot Coffee. It was Hot Brown.
It was something.
It was something like that.
But yeah, because the reason why they wrote off Damian Wayans was because they said that the reason why Winston wasn't on the first episode, they said that Winston was out doing basketball jump off. Then Winston came because he got kicked out, and then Coach got picked up. Yeah. And then Coach got kicked, and that's how they brought back Damian Wayans.
Exactly. Or no, it was
because I remember they were a basketball team because it went. I want to say Winston knew Nick the longest. Then it went Coach.
Yeah, because Winston and Nick were friends since childhood.
Since like childhood.
Nick met Schmidt in college, and then
Coach joined them in high school. Or
no, they was post college too, because that's when they all met.
But no,
they met Coach because Winston was playing overseas.
Oh yeah, he was playing overseas basketball. Yes.
So but another from my moments with Coffee Brown when Winston went into the courtroom to try to help Nick with his legal work. And didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, but he just went in with the confidence and that suit.
Like a lawyer.
And then another one also was shit. What was it? I just had it. The recurring downstairs neighbor that they always talk to, that old man, when he actually came upstairs. I want to say. I don't remember that one.
I want to say, but usually whenever they talk to him, whenever Nick talked to the old Asian dude.
Yes, the old Asian dude was always a good call.
Another good episode is when they tried to buy when they were trying to fight each other to try to get the apartment across the hall.
It was that episode, and when yes, when they were trying to get that one too. All right, and just to wrap up this last segment real quick, I just want to bring up one of my biggest issues with the show, and that issue was the Jess and Nick relationship. I just felt like it was unnecessary, I just felt like they had to ship somebody together, and it just didn't feel organic. That's why when Megan Fox came in as Reagan, I was okay with that. Like, cool. I never wanted Jess and Nick together because it just didn't seem earned. Any thoughts?
I'm gonna have to oppose, but I see why you saw it. But yet, also the thing is, once Reagan came in, it felt more organic to me. So I was more disappointed at the fact that she left and they reshipped Nick in them because of that fact.
I think you might be onto something. I think out of all of the roommates, Nick was the one that made most sense.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of give it a shot, but then they also had to kind of end it and then let the story keep continuing. I was worried when they started hooking up or dating or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be the end of the show because once they break up, it's over.
How are they going to continue that
Exactly. But they did it.
Yeah, they found a way. All right, guys. So this is going to come to our final segment of the podcast, which is called If You Haven't. And this is just the part when we're going to give recommendations about things. In particular, this episode, TV series you should watch if you like New Girl. Well, and if you haven't seen New Girl, I highly recommend you watch that first. And then check out some of our recommendations if you want to. If you think we have convinced you enough to be curious enough about the show. So I'm going to start with you, Leslie. If you haven't watched these series, what series would you binge if they like New Girl?
I would have to go with How I Met Your Mother.
Oh.
And I want to say that, didn't that come out before New Girl?
I want to say it did.
Because it had a good long standing.
Yeah, it came out before because I want to say the season, How You New Girl. I want to say How You Meet Your Mother ended way after New Girl.
Because I can't say because I never got into that shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's relevant. It's one of those shows, just like Friends. You can watch it in the 90s. You can watch it 20 years later, and all of their stuff is still relevant 100%.
Is it relevant because they don't change as characters? They pretty much stay the same? Kind of a la Big Bang Theory?
Say Friends is timeless?
It is.
But do we not stay the same character in our own lives? Aren't we just watching this group of people grow through life?
I could argue that, but for time's sakes, I will not. But I see your point.
Fair enough.
It's true. You can't change who you are because in the inside, I'm just an introvert peanut. I just covered with chocolatey swag. So I can't help that. When you take a bite, you're going to get some of that. Ross, what about you? If you haven't for a fan of New Girl.
If you haven't binged and you're a fan of New Girl, I would recommend one of my favorite shows that also, to me, would interpret it what New Girl's about, but kind of more funnier and a more of a different style, like a Modern Family style. And that show would be called Parks and Recs. Basically about a girl who lives in a town that she loves. She and her co-workers who end up technically her friends, they deal with their life situations, and she ends up dealing with a love life situation as well. It's great.
Amy Poehler is pretty awesome in that show.
The class is classic. Mm-hmm. All right, so if you haven't binged, for me, if you like New Girl, I will go with, I want to say which was a precursor to New Girl. It's a series called Happy Endings, which also starred Damon Wayans Jr.
So great.
In the show, and he plays more or less himself. Even his dad popped up. Damon Wayans Sr. in that show.
Episodes.
And I think he popped up in New Girl too as his dad.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, as Coach's dad.
Yeah.
So, like, if you like the style New Girl, this Happy Endings was kind of like one of those first shows to start doing like the random improv style of sitcoms when they left from like Friends was very formulaic, but this is kind of when it started getting more abstract, kind of like with Workaholics was coming out, so it got real random. Same time like with Community, it just cuts here, cuts there, cuts there. And it also starred Ezra Coop, who plays in Future Man, and Alicia Cuthbert that plays in The Ranch. You can find that shit on Hulu, and I highly recommend Happy Endings. And it also stars one of the guys that punched Baby Yoda in Mandalorian, and he was pretty fucking hilarious. And so that's if you haven't. And this is going to bring us to the closing of the first episode of the podcast, guys. If you've been listening all the way through, I thank you for this test run, this trial and error, this bumpy road, if you will. You know,
we will get better.
all goals may not be golden, but hey, as long as you keep marching on, you get to that Emerald City at the end, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's right. Got to start somewhere.
You crawl until you walk, and then you walk until you run.
True, if you have legs. Or then you just drink a Red Bull and learn how to fly.
Hey, we be potting.
Because Red Bull gives you wings.
Exactly. All right, so with that coming to wrap, I also want to go ahead and thank Daniel, of course, for being here, making sure everything is running smoothly.
I do what I can for my community.
Word. Yes, that means lube, everybody. Lube. It's very important. By keeping things smoothly running on the tracks, that is. And of course, Leslie, thank you for being our first guest, and also thank you for being like my, I can't say first female friend out here, but my first longest running female friend. I don't even call you a female friend. You're my bestie.
Hell
You're my
yeah.
nigga for life. Like, I'm always gonna be here for you. I love you so much, and that's the truth. And yeah, we had a lot of good times, and hopefully those good times will just continue into the future. And hopefully this will not be your last time on the podcast as well.
And
I hope not either. Thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's all ours.
And we do got a superhero movie coming soon anyway, so it's not.
And
like,
it's time to get the crew together
and
to go
we
watch them.
And we haven't had a crew movie night
since Endgame.
Ooh, shit, you might be right.
It's been a minute.
Since Endgame, I'm being honest.
We got to get that coordinated.
Word, we definitely work on that.
Bad Boys?
No, that's too soon.
Boys,
That's too soon. Maybe Harley Quinn.
All right.
But all right, so
I do need to watch that beautiful white woman named Elizabeth.
That's not even Elizabeth Banks, and that's Margot Robbie. Get the whites right.
Mary Elizabeth
Weinstein.
Yep.
Get it right. You ever call a woman by the wrong name?
I called her by her middle name, so it still counts.
Bad.
Still wrong. Even though her last name may still be Mary, they ain't the Mary you talking about. All right, guys. With that being said, that was the first official episode of Yo Where Da Captions At. I'm Kels for show, and just remember, be one or be nothing.
I'm Roscoe, and if you better yet known as Roscoe Tinkoya, and have a good night, guys.
Love yourself and love others. Thank you.